Hello, welcome to the MCRU YouTube channel. I hope you'll enjoy listening to what we have to say. This is our first video. It's just going to be a brief one. We're not really going to cover anything in particular. Obviously, if you want to subscribe and press the notification bell, you'll get told when the next video is. It's going to be a series of videos, hopefully informative. We'll probably have some competitions. We'll certainly be having some guest speakers. I'm sure there'll be people, suppliers and who will help us out along the way, who no doubt will want to come and talk about various things. I'm David, I own MCRU. I run it with my wife. We've been going probably in total about 20 years since I sold my first mains block on eBay. It's a short story. I just bought one and I thought I could build that myself. So I ordered the parts in and sold my first one, and it just mushroomed from there. So we're called MCRU, which is Mains Cables R Us. Obviously we don't just sell cables, there's all sorts of other things. We specialise really in the mains because that's where we think the most important area is from sound quality point of view. There's a lot of nonsense spoken about the mains by people who don't really believe in it. I mean, we've been going nearly 20 years. If cables didn't work, then we wouldn't be here, would we? I know everybody says to me, or the naysayers and the internet trolls say, well, why does the last metre of cable make any difference when the electricity's travelled all the way from the substation? Well, the last metre of cable isn't really the last metre at all, it's the first metre. It's the most important cable in your system. That's why we make a cable called the first, which I've got one here actually. That's basically the first cable, which we made specifically for the wall socket in your house to go to your mains conditioner or your mains block, as long as it's got a detachable mains lead. And it's made from heavily shielded and screen cable and top quality connectors. It's available in 3 different price ranges to suit your budget, because we all have budgets to work to, don't we? And a lot of people don't realise that electricity travels at about 90% of the speed of light, which is about 150,000 miles per second. So it's very difficult to imagine how fast that is. So just briefly, the electricity hasn't really travelled anywhere, because when you move into your house, the electricity is already there and it's moving round in a circle around your house. That's why in the UK we have something called a ring main, because the electricity is just travelling round in a ring basically. So it hasn't travelled from the substation, it was there when you moved in, and if it did travel it would take probably about a millisecond to arrive anyway, because of the speed that it travels. But most people's houses are full of what they call RFI, which is radio frequency interference, because internet wireless works off radio waves. And if you don't know what radio waves are, just plug an RCA cable into a spare socket on the back of your amplifier and hold it up with your hands, and you'll hear the radio coming out of your speakers, and those are the radio waves. And that's why we really need to use shielded and screen cable to stop the radio waves travelling down the wire and injecting interference into your system. And that's why we use screen and shielded cable. This is one of the ones we made hundreds of. It's called the MCRU number 75, and again it's made out of shielded and screen cable specifically to stop those radio waves travelling down the wire. And the only way you'll know if you've eradicated the RFI is because your system will sound better. So if you're using the basic mains leads that come with your equipment, or what we call a kettle lead with no shielding, no screening, these sort of things will improve it. And at the end of the day, we've sold literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these, and if they didn't make a difference, people would send them back. We've always give a 30-day money back guarantee with everything we sell, so proof of the pudding's in the hearing. So that first metre from the wall to your mains conditioner is the most important cable in your system. It will determine how your entire system sounds, and you know, if you want to carry on using cheap 99p kettle leads, that's fine, but there are improvements to be made using better ones. And let's be fair, all the cable sellers like myself and hundreds of others, we wouldn't be here if cables didn't make a difference. But enough preaching, so that's all we wanted to really cover today. And if you're wondering what we use as a system to test our cables, it's just behind me. We'll be showing you the whys and wherefores, and we'll be showing you where the cables go in another video. But we have a system with condo amplification, a Japanese direct dive turntable, Isotech mains conditioner, Max Sonic speakers, and we all have a system. The manual sits in front of a £5,000 system, gets as much enjoyment as the manual sits in front of a £5 million system. So we're all in it for the sound quality and that, you know, feeling that the artist's in the room. So that's what we all strive for. The next video will be next week, and we'll be talking about the different types of cables, conductivity of metals and those sort of things. So for now, happy listening. And don't forget to subscribe, because we'll probably be having some competitions and giveaways on the YouTube channel. So keep in touch, and I'll speak to you in a bit.